Look up at the night sky and tell me what you see. Is it infinite possibility, or is it a prison cell? For thousands of years, humanity looked up and believed the stars were static, eternal guardians watching over our small lives. But modern instruments have revealed a darkness hiding in the data, a silence that is growing louder every single year. We have found the edge, and it isn't a wall of ice or a void of nothingness. It is something much worse. Every atom in your body was forged in a star that might already be gone, lost forever behind the cosmic curtain. The light hitting your eyes tonight is a ghost, a delayed message from a past that no longer exists in our reality. Astronomers call it the cosmological event horizon, but to understand the horror, you must stop thinking like a scientist and start thinking like a prisoner. Imagine you are swimming in an ocean that is expanding faster than you can swim, pulling the shore away from you. No matter how hard you struggle, the land disappears and you are left drifting in a dark, expanding void. That is exactly what is happening to our galaxy, and the culprit is a mysterious force known as dark energy. In 1929, Edwin Hubble smashed our perception of a static universe when he realized the galaxies were rushing away from us. But he didn't see the terrifying implication that would haunt astrophysicists for the next 100 years of human history. The expansion isn't just happening, it is accelerating, pushing the universe apart faster than the speed of light itself. This violates our intuitive understanding of physics, yet the math is undeniable, and the observational data is absolute proof. There are regions of space that we can see today that we will never, ever be able to reach, no matter the technology. We are trapped in a bubble of light, and that bubble is shrinking relative to the vastness of the total universe. Every second you watch this video, another star system crosses the horizon and vanishes from our causal future forever. They don't just disappear visually, they become physically disconnected from us, as if they never existed in our universe at all. If a civilization on one of those crossing galaxies sent a signal right now, it would never reach us. Their screams, their discoveries, their entire history is being deleted from the record of reality by the expansion of space. This leads to a disturbing realization about our place in the cosmos and the ultimate fate of the Milky Way. We are becoming cosmic orphans, isolated on an island that is slowly drifting away from the rest of the archipelago. Future civilizations born on Earth might look up and see nothing but an empty, black void surrounding our galaxy. They will think the Milky Way is the entire universe, and they will have no evidence to prove otherwise. We live in a privileged time where we can still see the echoes of the Big Bang and the neighboring galaxies. But this window is closing, and once it shuts, the truth of the universe's origin will be lost to time. The darkness is not just the absence of light. It is the absence of information, the erasure of truth itself. But the mystery gets deeper when we look at what is pulling these galaxies away from us with such violence. Scientists call it dark energy, but that is just a placeholder name for a force we do not understand. It makes up 68% of the universe, yet we cannot see it, touch it, or measure it directly. It is a ghost in the machine, a silent killer that is actively dismantling the structures of the cosmos. Some theories suggest it is a property of space itself, meaning that as space creates more space, the pushing force gets stronger. Others fear it might be a sign of vacuum decay, a bubble of instability that could wipe us out instantly. The scariest part isn't that the universe is ending, it's that the universe is trying to hide its own end. By pushing galaxies over the horizon, the universe is effectively scrubbing the crime scene clean of any evidence. We are left with a paradox. The more we learn, the more we realize how much is disappearing from our view. The observable universe is finite, bounded by how far light has traveled since the beginning of time. Beyond that edge lies the unobservable universe, a realm of monsters and mysteries we can only mathematically hallucinate. Is it infinite? Does it loop back on itself? Or is there something else waiting in the deep dark? The Great Attractor gives us a clue, a gravitational anomaly pulling us and thousands of other galaxies towards a specific point. Something observationally impossible is happening in the zone of avoidance, hidden behind the dust of our own galaxy. We are moving at millions of miles per hour towards a destination we cannot see, pulled by a hand we cannot hold. This is the cosmic horror of our reality. We are not the center of the stage. we are debris in the wind. The edge isn't just a distance in light years. It is a barrier in time, separating the knowable from the unknown. If you think this is just theoretical physics, look at your hand again and realize the space between atoms is expanding too. The force tearing the galaxies apart is weaving through the very fabric of reality that you occupy right now. We are standing on the precipice of the greatest discovery in human history, or the edge of our ultimate demise. To understand the edge, we must leave the comfort of Earth and travel to the boundary of the observable universe. What we find there will challenge everything you believe about God, creation, and the purpose of life. The investigation begins now, and the deeper we go, the darker the sky becomes. To truly grasp the terrifying nature of our isolation, we must first define the walls of our prison, which astronomers call the observable universe. This is not the entire universe. It is merely the spherical region from which light has had enough time to reach us since the Big Bang occurred 13.8 billion years ago. It is a bubble of causality, a desperate little island of information in a sea of absolute unknowns, and its radius is currently calculated to be approximately 46.5 billion light-years. You might ask how the radius can be 46 billion light-years if the universe is only 13.8 billion years old, and the answer lies in the deceptive nature of the expansion itself. The space between us and those distant objects has expanded while the light was traveling, stretching the distance like a rubber band, meaning that the objects we see today are actually ghosts, projected from a location they occupied billions of years ago, while their physical bodies have been carried far beyond the reach of our physics, perhaps forever. This brings us to the most claustrophobic realization in astrophysics. The speed of light is not just a speed limit for travel, it is the speed limit of reality itself. And on cosmic scales, it is agonizingly slow. When you look at the moon, you see it as it was 1.3 seconds ago. When you look at the sun, you see it as it was 8 minutes ago. And when you look at the nearest galaxy, Andromeda, you are peering 2.5 million years into the past, seeing a version of the galaxy that existed before modern humans walked the Earth. This means we are permanently trapped in a time lag, unable to ever experience the universe as it exists in the now. We are surrounded by a cosmic history book, where the pages are being ripped out as soon as we read them. The further out we look, the further back in time we go, until we hit an opaque wall of fire that prevents us from seeing the moment of creation itself, leaving us forever blind to our true origins. But the prison walls are not static. They are moving. And the mechanism driving this movement is the Doppler effect, or cosmic redshift, which is slowly erasing the universe from our sky. As light travels through expanding space, the waves are stretched out, shifting from the visible blue spectrum towards the red, then into the infrared, and eventually into radio waves that are invisible to the human eye. This means that the universe is literally fading to black. Distant galaxies are not just moving away, they are dimming out of existence, their light stretched so thin that it becomes indistinguishable from the background static of the void. We have already lost 97% of the galaxies in the observable universe to this horizon. They are technically still there, but they have crossed a point of no return called the Hubble limit, where space is expanding faster than light can travel through it. We are receiving their final letters, knowing that the civilization that sent them has already been disconnected from our reality. The investigation into this expansion has revealed a crisis in modern cosmology known as the quote, tension. A discrepancy so severe that it suggests our fundamental understanding of physics might be broken. When we measure the expansion rate of the universe using the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, we get one specific number, approximately 67 kilometers per second per megaparsec. However, when we measure the expansion using local supernovae and pulsating stars known as Cepheid variables, we get a completely different number, closer to 73 or 74 kilometers per second per megaparsec. This statistical impossibility is not a calculation error. Both measurements have become incredibly precise over the last decade, yet they refuse to agree. It is as if the universe is playing by two different sets of rules depending on how far away we look, or worse, there is an invisible force interacting with the cosmos that we have completely failed to account for in the Standard Model. To solve this mystery, we must look at the Standard Model of Cosmology, often called lambda CDM, which assumes that the universe is composed of three things: normal matter, dark matter, and dark energy. Normal matter, the stars, the planets, the gas, and your own body, makes up a pathetic 5% of the total energy budget of the universe. Think about that. Everything we have ever seen, touched, or loved is merely a rounding error in the grand design of the cosmos. Dark matter makes up about 27%, providing the gravitational glue that holds galaxies together, yet we still have no idea what particle it actually is. But the real monster is dark energy, comprising roughly 68% of the universe, a force that acts as a sort of anti-gravity, pushing space apart from within. The terror comes from the fact that while matter dilutes as space expands, dark energy does not. Its density remains constant, meaning that as the universe gets bigger, the amount of dark energy increases, pushing even harder, creating a runaway feedback loop of isolation. This runaway expansion leads us to the concept of the cosmological event horizon, a boundary distinct from the particle horizon, representing the distance beyond which a photon emitted today will never reach us. It is a future boundary, a limit on what we can ever affect or be affected by, and calculations show that this horizon is shrinking relative to the co-moving coordinates of the galaxies. Imagine a friend running away from you. At some point, they cross a line where, even if they turn on a flashlight and point it at you, that beam of light will simply tread water in expanding space, never closing the distance. The galaxies crossing this horizon are effectively freezing on the sky, their time appearing to slow down infinitely until they fade into the infrared darkness. We are not just losing space, we are losing the future capability to interact with anything outside our local cluster, sentencing our descendants to a universe of extreme solitude. Let us deepen the horror by considering the coincidence problem, a question that keeps existential philosophers and cosmologists awake at night. Why do we live in the exact brief moment in cosmic history where dark energy and dark matter are roughly comparable in influence? For billions of years, dark matter dominated, allowing galaxies to form and life to emerge. In the future, dark energy will dominate completely, ripping structures apart. We exist in a fleeting Goldilocks zone of time, a temporal window that allows us to see the evidence of the Big Bang before it is washed away forever. If humans had evolved a few trillion years later, the sky would be black, the cosmic microwave background would be undetectable, and we would have absolutely no way of knowing that the universe had a beginning at all. We would assume the universe was static, eternal, and empty, and we would be wrong. The vast majority of the universe is already gone, lost behind the veil of expansion, but there is something pulling on the galaxies that remain, something massive and unseen. Astronomers observing the peculiar motion of the Milky Way and its neighbors discovered that we are not just drifting randomly, we are flowing like a river towards a specific point in the sky. This phenomenon is known as the dark flow, a controversial movement of galaxy clusters, moving at millions of miles per hour towards a region between the constellations of Centaurus and Hydra. The terrifying part is that whatever is pulling us seems to be located outside the observable universe. We are being dragged by the gravity of a structure we cannot see, a titanic mass that lies beyond the edge of our vision, dragging our entire section of the universe towards a destination we will never identify. This gravitational anomaly led to the discovery of the Great Attractor, a region of space roughly 150 to 250 million light-years away that acts as a gravitational drain for our cosmic neighborhood. For decades, this region was hidden from us by the zone of avoidance, the dense plain of dust and stars within our own Milky Way that blocks our view of the deep universe. When radio astronomers finally peered through the dust, they found the Norma cluster, a massive accumulation of galaxies. But even that wasn't enough to explain the speed at which we are moving. Behind the Great Attractor lies the even larger Shapley supercluster, the most massive concentration of galaxies in the nearby universe. We are falling towards it, but because of dark energy, we will never actually reach it. The space between us will expand faster than our fall, leaving us suspended in an eternal state of falling towards a floor that is rushing away from us. But gravity is not just about attraction. It is also about repulsion. And recent mapping of cosmic flows has revealed a terrifying counterpart to the Great Attractor, the dipole repeller. While the Shapley supercluster pulls us in one direction, there appears to be a vast, empty void in the opposite direction that is effectively pushing us away. This void is a region of space so devoid of matter that its lack of gravity acts as a repulsive force relative to the dense regions around it. We are caught in a cosmic currents, sandwiched between a monster pulling us and a void pushing us, drifting through the filaments of the cosmic web like a raft in a hurricane. These structures are so immense that they defy the standard model's prediction of homogeneity, suggesting that the universe is not as smooth and uniform as we once believed, but rather clotted and scarred by ancient titanic forces. The existence of these massive voids brings us to the concept of the Bootsy void, often referred to as the Great Nothing. It is a spherical region of space nearly 330 million light-years in diameter, located in the vicinity of the constellation Boots. Statistically, a region of this size should contain thousands of galaxies, yet we have only found about 60 inside it. If the Milky Way were in the center of the Boots void, we would not have known there were other galaxies in the universe until the 1960s. It is an abyss so profound that it feels artificial, leading some speculative scientists and science fiction writers to wonder if it is an expanding bubble of a Type 3 civilization that has harvested every star in its path, cloaking them in Dyson spheres and leaving nothing but darkness in its wake. While unlikely, the very existence of such a void challenges our theories of how structure formed in the early universe. While we worry about the edges of the universe, we often forget that the ultimate horror might be happening right here, in the quantum vacuum of empty space. This is the theory of vacuum decay, the idea that the vacuum of our universe is in a false energy state, distinct from the true lowest energy state. Think of it like a ball resting in a small dip on a hillside. It seems stable, but if given a hard enough kick, it could roll down to the bottom of the hill. If a bubble of true vacuum were to nucleate anywhere in the universe, it would expand at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of physics as it passed. Chemistry would cease to exist, atoms would fall apart, and because it travels at light speed, we would never see it coming. One moment we are here, and the next, the fundamental constants of nature have changed, and we are simply erased. This brings us back to the question of the multiverse and eternal inflation, a theory championed by cosmologists to explain why our universe is so big and smooth. The theory suggests that the Big Bang was not a unique event, but rather one bubble popping into existence in a vast, expanding loaf of cosmic bread. In this scenario, our universe is just one of infinite bubbles, each with different laws of physics. If this is true, the edge of our universe is merely the boundary where our bubble meets another. The dark flow we observe could be the gravitational tug of a neighboring universe bumping against ours, a cosmic bruise caused by a collision of realities. It reduces humanity from the center of creation to a microscopic bacteria living on the skin of one bubble among trillions, completely insignificant in the grand calculus of existence. Let's return to the fate of our specific galaxy, the Milky Way, and its dance with our nearest neighbor, Andromeda. While the rest of the universe runs away from us, Andromeda is rushing toward us at 110 kilometers per second. This collision is inevitable, and it will happen in about 4.5 billion years. The night sky will change dramatically. The band of the Milky Way will be twisted and distorted, and Andromeda will grow larger until it dominates the heavens. The two galaxies will pass through each other, their gravity tearing out long streamers of stars, before crashing back together to merge into a single massive elliptical galaxy, often nicknamed Milkdromeda. While stellar collisions are unlikely due to the vast distances between stars, the chaotic restructuring of our galactic home will be a violent, transformative event that marks the end of the Milky Way as we know it. But after this merger, the view becomes terrifyingly lonely. Because of the accelerated expansion caused by dark energy, all other galaxies outside our local group will have accelerated beyond the cosmic horizon. The local group, bound by gravity, will be the only thing left visible in the entire sky. A future astronomer born on a planet in Milkdromeda in 100 billion years will look up and see a sky filled with stars, but no other galaxies. No Hubble Deep Field, no background radiation, no evidence of the Big Bang. They will construct models of the universe that describe it as a single, static island of stars, surrounded by infinite, eternal darkness. They will be fundamentally wrong about the nature of reality, and despite their brilliance, they will never be able to learn the truth, because the evidence will have been physically removed from their observable sphere. This concept of cosmic amnesia implies that we are living in a very special, fleeting era of enlightenment. We are the only generation of observers who can see the full picture. But even our picture is incomplete. We see the cosmic microwave background, but we cannot see past it. The CMB acts as a curtain, generated 380,000 years after the Big Bang, when the universe cooled enough for neutral atoms to form and photons to travel freely. Before that moment, the universe was a hot, opaque plasma, a fog that light could not penetrate. We can infer what happened before, but we can never see it directly with light. We are staring at a wall of fire that hides the moment of conception, leaving the ultimate question, what caused the Big Bang, permanently shrouded in mystery, locked away behind the scattering surface of the early universe. To pierce this veil, scientists are now turning to gravitational waves, ripples in the fabric of space-time itself. Unlike light, gravitational waves can pass through the opaque plasma of the early universe unhindered. If we can build detectors sensitive enough, like the proposed LISA space mission, we might be able to hear the ringing of the universe from the very first fraction of a second. We could detect the primordial gravitational waves generated by inflation itself, finally giving us a glimpse of the machinery that blew up the universe. But until then, we are like deaf men trying to listen to a symphony, catching only the vibrations of the floorboards while the music plays in a room we are forbidden to enter. The silence of the ancient universe is not empty. It is full of information we currently lack the organs to perceive. The darkness of the future is not just about isolation, it is about the decay of matter itself. If we look far enough ahead, past the isolation of the galaxies, past the death of the last stars, we encounter the era of degenerate dark. In this era, star formation ceases. The universe becomes a graveyard of black holes, neutron stars, and cooling white dwarfs. But even these remnants are not eternal. Protons, the building blocks of atomic nuclei, are theoretically predicted to decay over incredibly vast timescales, perhaps 10 to the power of 34 years. If proton decay is real, then all matter, every planet, every dead star, every dust grain, will eventually dissolve into subatomic radiation. The physical universe as we know it will literally evaporate, leaving nothing but a sea of photons and neutrinos slowly cooling towards absolute zero. This leads to the heat death of the universe, or the Big Freeze. It is the ultimate triumph of entropy. Thermodynamics dictates that entropy, the measure of disorder, always increases in an isolated system. As energy spreads out and gradients disappear, the universe loses the ability to do work. No more stars can ignite. No more life can metabolize. No more thoughts can be thought. The universe reaches a state of maximum entropy, a flat line of existence where time essentially loses its meaning because nothing ever changes again. It is a cold, quiet, eternal coffin. This is not science fiction. It is the most likely prediction of our current laws of physics. The universe will not end with a bang, but with a long, drawn-out whimper that stretches into infinity. However, there is a violent alternative to the Big Freeze, the Big Rip. If the density of dark energy increases over time, a scenario known as phantom energy, then the expansion will become so powerful that it overcomes all other forces. First, it will tear galaxies apart. Then, it will tear solar systems apart, stripping planets away from their stars. In the final moments, it will overcome the electromagnetic and strong nuclear forces, ripping stars apart, then planets, then molecules, and finally, atoms themselves. In the last fraction of a second, the fabric of space-time will be shredded, destroying the very concept of distance. This scenario turns the gentle isolation of the heat death into a violent, active destruction of every structure in existence, a cosmic shredder that leaves absolutely nothing behind. Returning to the present, we must confront the axis of evil, a strange anomaly in the cosmic microwave background. The temperature fluctuations in the early universe should be random, distributed equally in all directions. But they aren't. There appears to be an alignment, a preferred direction or axis that lines up with the plane of our solar system. This shouldn't be possible. The universe on a large scale shouldn't know or care about the orientation of our tiny solar system. Is it a calibration error? A fluke? Or does it suggest that the Copernican principle is wrong, and that there is something special, or perhaps something structured, about our specific location in the cosmos? The data suggests a geometry to the universe that defies standard random inflation, hinting at a design or a topology that we have completely misunderstood. We also have to consider the cold spot, a massive region in the CMB that is significantly colder than its surroundings. It is too big and too cold to be explained by standard statistical fluctuations. Some theorists argue it is the shadow of a supervoid, the largest empty space in existence, billions of light years across. Others have proposed a more radical theory, that the cold spot is the imprint of a collision with another universe. Imagine two bubbles touching. The point of contact would leave a bruise, a distinct signature in the temperature map. If this is true, it is the first physical evidence that the edge of our universe is not a wall, but a membrane, pressing up against a much larger, incomprehensible multiverse that we share this dimensional space with. What if the edge of the universe isn't far away? What if it is a matter of dimension? String theory suggests there are extra dimensions curled up tightly at the microscopic level. Gravity might be leaking out of our dimensions into these others, which would explain why gravity is so weak compared to electromagnetism. If we could access these higher dimensions, the distance between stars might collapse. The edge might be right next to you, separated only by a dimensional vibrational frequency. But if gravity leaks out, what leaks in? Could the dark matter we detect be the gravitational shadow of matter existing on a parallel brane, a ghost universe hovering just millimeters away from ours in a fourth spatial dimension? This concept, known as brane cosmology, turns the vastness of space into a layered sandwich of realities. The investigative trail leads us to the distribution of quasars, the ultra-bright cores of active galaxies powered by supermassive black holes. They are the lighthouses of the deep universe. Recently, astronomers found a structure called the huge LQG, Large Quasar Group, a cluster of quasars 4 billion light-years across. This structure is so big that it breaks the cosmological principle, which states that the universe should look smooth and uniform at very large scales. It is a structure that theoretically shouldn't exist. It is too big to have formed in the time since the Big Bang. Its existence suggests that the early universe had clumping and organization that our gravity models cannot explain, hinting at a pre-existing structure or seed that organized the matter before the expansion even began. We must also talk about the transparency of the universe. As we look deeper, we expect the number of galaxies to drop off as we approach the formation era, but the James Webb Space Telescope has found massive, fully formed galaxies existing just 300 million years after the Big Bang. This is impossible under current models. It's like walking into a nursery and finding a fully grown adult with a beard sitting in a crib. These universe breakers suggest that galaxy formation happened almost instantly, or, and this is the terrifying part, the universe is older than we think. If the universe is older than 13.8 billion years, then the Big Bang might not be the beginning. It might just be the latest cycle, a bounce from a previous collapse, and we are living in a recycled reality. The concept of a cyclical universe, or the Big Bounce, removes the absolute edge of time, but adds an edge of futility. It suggests we are trapped in an eternal loop of expansion and contraction. We are born, we evolve, the universe dies, it collapses, and it starts again. Have we had this conversation before? In a truly infinite cycle, every configuration of atoms will eventually repeat. This script, your eyes watching at this exact moment, has likely happened an infinite number of times before, and will happen an infinite number of times again. It is the ultimate prison, a prison of eternal recurrence, where no progress is ever truly made, just a ceaseless replay of the same cosmic drama for no audience but the void itself. Let's zoom back into the specific danger of black holes, the literal edges of our spacetime. A black hole is a tear in the fabric, a place where the edge is a physical location called the event horizon. Once you cross it, all paths lead to the singularity. There is no direction you can turn that points away from the center. Space itself flows inward faster than light. But recent theories suggest that black holes might not be dead ends. They could be seeds for new universes. The singularity might be the Big Bang of a baby universe expanding into a different dimension. If this is true, our own universe might be the interior of a massive black hole existing in a larger parent universe. We are living inside the event horizon of a monster, mistaking our prison walls for the starry sky. This black hole cosmology theory solves many problems, but it creates a sense of vertigo. If we are inside a black hole, what is happening in the parent universe? Is it dying? Is it expanding? And does it mean that every black hole in our universe contains a universe inside it? It creates a Russian nesting doll of realities, a fractal descent into infinity. But it also implies that the edge of our universe is the Schwarzschild radius of the black hole we inhabit. We can never escape. We are contained within a gravitational bottle, and the expansion we see is simply the growth of the black hole as it swallows matter from the universe above us. It reframes our entire existence as a digestive process of a higher-order entity. There is also the Fermi paradox to consider in light of the edge. If the universe is infinite, or even just very large, life should be everywhere, but we see nothing. No Dyson spheres, no radio signals, no von Neumann probes. The silence is deafening. Some argue the great filter is behind us, others say it is ahead. But maybe the answer lies in the expansion. Civilizations might be emerging constantly, but they are pushed apart so fast by dark energy that they never meet. We are isolated not by a lack of life, but by the geometry of space. The universe might be teeming with screaming civilizations, all isolated in their own expanding bubbles, destined to die alone without ever knowing they had neighbors. The edge of the universe acts as a silencer, muffling the cries of a trillion worlds. Let's reconsider the dark ages of the universe. Between 380,000 years and 150 million years after the Big Bang, there was no light. No stars had formed, just clouds of neutral hydrogen. It was a time of absolute darkness. We are currently trying to observe this era using radio telescopes to detect the 21-centimeter line of hydrogen. This era holds the secrets of how the first structures formed. If we find that the structures formed too early, it breaks the standard model. If we find they formed too late, it breaks our understanding of dark matter. The darkness of that era is a blank canvas onto which we project our fears, and as the data trickles in, the canvas is starting to show shapes that make astronomers uncomfortable, patterns that look too organized to be natural. The investigation of the edge also requires us to look at the fine-tuning problem. The physical constants of our universe, the strength of gravity, the charge of the electron, the cosmological constant, seem perfectly tuned for life. If dark energy were slightly stronger, galaxies wouldn't form. If it were weaker, the universe would have collapsed already. This precision suggests two disturbing possibilities. Either there is a designer, which science cannot test, or there are infinite universes with random constants and we are simply in the one that works. The anthropic principle. But the anthropic principle is a survivor's bias. It doesn't explain why the universe is this way, it just says, if it weren't, we wouldn't be here to ask. It is a non-answer that leaves us staring at the edge of scientific explanation, unable to cross into understanding. Recently, a new anomaly has appeared. The discovery of IMG strange galaxies that seem to lack dark matter entirely. Theories of gravity say that galaxies need dark matter to hold them together, or they would fly apart. Finding galaxies without it is like finding a boneless animal walking upright. It suggests that dark matter is not a universal constant, but a substance that can be separated from normal matter. It implies that there are regions of the universe that obey different rules, patches of the cosmos, where gravity behaves differently. It fragments our understanding of a unified universe into a patchwork of local laws, making the edge not a distance, but a transition zone between different physics. We must also discuss the Great Wall, specifically the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall. It is a galactic filament measuring 10 billion light-years in length. It is the largest known structure in the observable universe. Its existence is a problem. It is too big. Light has only had 13.8 billion years to travel. How did a structure 10 billion light-years long assemble itself? It would need to coordinate its formation faster than the speed of light. It stands as a monument to our ignorance, a colossal skeleton in the cosmic closet that proves our timeline of the universe is flawed. It suggests that the edge of time is further back than we admit, or that the universe has mechanisms of communication that bypass the speed of light limit entirely. Let's turn the telescope to the Eridanus supervoid, another candidate for a universe-breaking anomaly. This cold spot is linked to the CMB cold spot mentioned earlier. If it is a void, it is missing 10,000 galaxies. Imagine a city where 10,000 houses just vanished overnight. Where did the matter go? Did it collapse into a mega black hole? Was it pushed out by an exotic force? Or was it never there? Some theories suggest it is a texture defect in space-time. a knot in the fabric of reality formed during the early phase transitions of the universe. If space can have knots, what happens if we fly into one? Do we twist? Do we break? The geometry of the void is a warning sign that the ground beneath our feet is not as solid as we think. The concept of the edge is ultimately a confrontation with the limit of human knowledge. We build bigger telescopes, Webb, Hubble, Euclid, desperate to push the wall back. But for every light year we see, we uncover more darkness. The dark components of the universe, dark energy and dark matter, make up 95% of reality. We are experts in the 5%. We are like a person who has studied a single grain of sand and claims to understand the entire beach. The hubris of cosmology is thinking that we can map the infinite from our tiny rock. The edge is not out there. The edge is right here, at the limit of our brain's ability to comprehend scales that dwarf our existence. We are trying to download the internet onto a floppy disk. Consider the sheer terror of the Big Slurp. This is a variation of vacuum decay involving the Higgs boson. The Higgs field gives particles mass. If that field drops to a lower energy state, physics changes instantly. Electrons might lose their mass, meaning atoms can't hold together. Everything physical would simply disentangle into radiation. This could happen spontaneously, anywhere in the universe. A bubble could start in the Andromeda galaxy right now, and we wouldn't know for 2.5 million years. But when it arrives at light speed. You wouldn't see it coming. You would just cease to be. The edge of existence is a knife's edge, balanced on a quantum probability that could tip at any moment. What if the universe isn't expanding, but we are shrinking? This is a fringe but mathematically interesting concept. If atomic masses were increasing over time, the universe would appear to be expanding and redshifting. It changes the perspective from a cosmic explosion to a local implosion. While not the standard model, it highlights how our interpretation of data relies on fixed assumptions. We assume we are the constant rulers by which the universe is measured. But if the ruler is changing, the measurement is a lie. The edge might be an illusion caused by our own changing perception of time and mass, a trick of the light played on a consciousness desperate for stability. The horizon problem remains one of the biggest headaches. Regions of space on opposite sides of the sky are the exact same temperature, but they are too far apart to have ever exchanged heat. They are outside each other's causal horizons. How do they know to be the same temperature? It's like 2 cups of coffee in London and Tokyo cooling to the exact same microdegree, at the exact same speed without ever touching. Inflation solves this by saying they were touching before blowing apart. But inflation is a band-aid, a mathematical patch we invented to save the theory. If inflation is wrong, then the uniformity of the universe is a mystery that suggests a predetermined coordination, a spooky action at a cosmic distance. Let us look at the Omphalos hypothesis, applied to cosmology, the last Thursdayism of astrophysics. Since we can't see the beginning, how do we know the universe wasn't created 5 minutes ago, with all the memories and light rays already in place? While unfalsifiable and unscientific, the edge of the universe forces us to confront the limits of empiricism. If we can only see a snapshot of light, we are reconstructing a video from a single frame. We are detectives at a crime scene where 95% of the evidence, dark sector, is invisible, and the other 5% is moving away from us. The fact that we have figured out anything at all is a miracle, but the confidence we have in our models might be our greatest weakness. As we approach the 100th scene of this investigation, we must acknowledge the end of cosmology. This is a predicted era in the distant future where the expansion has pushed all other galaxies out of view. No new information can be gathered. Civilization will be blind. But we are also in an end of cosmology of sorts right now. We have hit limits on particle colliders. We are hitting limits on telescope sizes. We might be approaching the hard limit of what a biological species can learn about the cosmos. The edge of the universe might forever remain the edge, a tantalizing line on the map that says, "Here there be dragons," marking the boundary between science and faith. But there is a specific type of star that gives us hope and fear, the population 3 stars. These are the theoretical first stars, made of pure hydrogen and helium, with no metals. We have never seen one. They lived fast and died young, exploding as supernovae that seeded the universe with the carbon and oxygen that make up your body. Finding one is the holy grail of the James Webb telescope. If we find them, we see the "let there be light" moment. If we don't, if they are already gone, or if they never existed in the way we think, then our chemical origin story falls apart. We are hunting for our cosmic grandparents in the dark forest of the deep universe. The reionization epoch is the dawn that followed the Dark Ages. Something turned the lights back on. Ultraviolet light from the first stars ionized the hydrogen fog, making the universe transparent. It was a violent global warming event on a cosmic scale. But what exactly did it? Was it stars, quasars, or decaying dark matter particles? The transition from opaque to clear is the moment the universe opened its eyes. We are looking back at that eyelid opening, trying to see who woke up the cosmos. The edge of the observable universe is that eyelid. There is a disturbing theory called the Big Crunch, the opposite of the Big Freeze. If there is enough matter, gravity might win. The expansion stops, reverses, and the universe collapses. The sky turns blue, then violet, then blinding white as the radiation of 1 trillion stars is compressed. Temperatures rise until atoms strip apart. It ends in a singularity. Some say this is how the next Big Bang starts. A breathing universe. Inhale, exhale. If this is true, the edge is just the turning point of the breath. But current data says no. Dark energy is winning. The breath is a gasp that never ends. Let's talk about cosmic strings. These are hypothetical 1D defects in spacetime, thinner than a proton, but with the mass of a mountain per inch. If they exist, they are whips cracking across the universe. If one passed through Earth, it would slice the planet in half with a gravitational shear so sharp we wouldn't feel it until the ground separated. They are relics of the early universe, scars left over from the cooling process. Searching for them is searching for the stitches in the fabric of reality. Finding one would prove string theory. Getting hit by one would be the end of the story. The tired light hypothesis was an alternative to the Big Bang. It claimed the universe isn't expanding, light just gets tired and loses energy as it travels. It was debunked by time dilation data. Distant events really do look like they are happening in slow motion. This proves expansion is real. The universe really is stretching. The slow motion of distant supernovae is the smoking gun. We are watching a movie where the frame rate drops the further back you look, until the screen freezes entirely at the horizon. We must consider the Anthropocene of the cosmos. We are the universe waking up to itself. We are the way the cosmos knows it exists. If we die, does the universe go back to sleep? If there are no observers to collapse the wave function, does the universe exist in a definite state? Quantum mechanics suggests the observer is crucial. If humanity is the only intelligence, unlikely but possible, then the edge of the universe is the edge of our perception. When we close our eyes, the universe might cease to be defined. We carry the reality of the cosmos on our shoulders. The zombie galaxies. These are massive, red, dead galaxies that stopped making stars billions of years ago. They are just coasting. Why did they die? Did their black holes heat up the gas so it couldn't collapse? Did they run out of fuel? We see them floating in clusters, graveyards of potential. The Milky Way is still alive, still making stars, but its rate is slowing. We are slowly becoming a zombie. The edge of life is approaching. In a few trillion years, every galaxy will be a zombie, wandering the dark. What about white holes, the mathematical opposite of black holes? Nothing can enter, only things can leave. Are they the other side of the funnel? Are they spewing matter into our universe from somewhere else? We have never seen one. But the math allows them. Maybe the Big Bang itself was a white hole, an explosion of matter from a singularity. If they exist, they are the fountains of creation in a universe of drains. The search for a white hole is the search for the inlet valve of reality. The information paradox. If a book falls into a black hole, is the information lost? Hawking said yes, then he said no. If it's lost, physics breaks. Information must be conserved. The holographic principle suggests the information is plastered on the surface of the black hole. This leads to the idea that our entire universe might be a hologram. The 3D world we see is a projection from a 2D surface at the edge of the universe. The edge is the film. We are the movie. real, but not solid. As we conclude this section of the investigation, we stand at the shore of the cosmic ocean. We have defined the horizon. We have identified the currents, dark flow. We have spotted the monsters, black holes, vacuum decay. But the biggest mystery remains. What is the water? What is space itself? Is it a fluid, a grid, a simulation? The edge is not just a place. It is a limit of our understanding. And as we push forward into the next phase, we will stop looking at the map and start looking at the territory, the specific, dangerous anomalies that defy all logic. The investigation is far from over. The rabbit hole goes deeper. When we ask about the edge of the universe, we are fundamentally asking about the shape of space itself, a field of study known as topology. For decades, astronomers have tried to determine if the universe is flat, spherical, or saddle-shaped, because the geometry dictates our ultimate fate. If the universe is positively curved like a sphere, then if you travel far enough in one direction, you will eventually return to your starting point, much like an airplane circumnavigating the Earth. This would mean the universe is finite but unbounded, a closed loop with no physical edge, just a seamless repetition of reality. Current measurements from the Planck satellite suggest the universe is flat, with a margin of error of only 0.4%, which implies it is likely infinite. However, flat in 3 dimensions is hard to visualize. It means parallel lines stay parallel forever. But if it is truly infinite, then statistically, every possible arrangement of atoms must eventually repeat. Somewhere, trillions of light years away, there is another version of you listening to this exact script, trapped in the same existential nightmare. The flatness of the universe brings us to the critical density problem, a knife-edge balance that defies coincidence. The density of matter and energy in the universe determines its shape and its future. If there is too much mass, gravity wins and the universe collapses. If there is too little, it expands forever. We seem to be living in a universe that has exactly the critical density required to stay flat, a value of roughly 6 hydrogen atoms per cubic meter. This balance is so precise, accurate to within 1 part in a quadrillion roughly a second after the Big Bang, that it screams of fine-tuning. If the universe had slightly more matter, it would have recollapsed into a black hole immediately. Slightly less, and stars would never have formed. We are walking a tightrope over a canyon of non-existence, and we don't know why the laws of physics placed us exactly on this wire. Let's descend into the deepest psychological horror of thermodynamics, the Boltzmann brain hypothesis. In an infinite universe that lasts for an infinite amount of time, random fluctuations of particles will eventually create organized structures. It is statistically more likely for the atoms in a void to randomly assemble into a single, functioning human brain, complete with false memories of a past life, than it is for an entire complex universe like ours to evolve naturally from a Big Bang. This implies that you might be that brain, right now, floating in the deep void, hallucinating your entire life, this video, and the room around you, just for a split second before dissolving back into chaos. The edge of reality might be the limit of your own hallucination, and there is no way to prove via logic or physics that you are not a momentary ghost in the machine of eternity. If the universe is a container, we must ask what the pixel size of that container is. This brings us to the Planck length, the smallest possible unit of measurement in the universe, roughly 1.6 times 10 to the negative 35 meters. Below this scale, the concepts of geometry, distance, and position break down completely. Space is not a smooth, continuous sheet. It is granular, discrete, like the pixels on a screen. This suggests that there is a fundamental resolution limit to reality. If space is pixelated, it strongly supports the simulation hypothesis, the idea that we are living in a computed reality. The edge of the universe isn't a wall. It's the rendering limit of the processor running our world. We might be unable to see further or deeper because the system hasn't allocated memory for those regions, creating a fog of war that we interpret as the laws of physics. Building on the pixelation of space, we encounter the concept of error correction codes buried in the equations of supersymmetry. Theoretical physicist James Gates found mathematical structures in string theory that resemble the checksums used in web browsers to correct data transmission errors. If the fabric of the universe contains computer code designed to self-correct, it implies an architect. But in the context of cosmic horror, it implies something worse. We are an experiment. The universe might be a simulation running to see how long life can survive against the accelerating expansion. The dark energy tearing us apart might just be the user deleting the files, wiping the hard drive clean to start a new simulation. We are not the players in this game. We are the NPCs, programmed to look for meaning in a code that was written to discard us. Let's return to the physical edge of time and the past hypothesis. Entropy always increases, which means the universe began in a state of incredibly low entropy, highly ordered, highly dense. But why? The probability of the universe starting in such a perfectly ordered state by chance is vanishingly small, a number so large that if you wrote a 0 on every atom in the universe, you wouldn't have enough atoms to write the number. This is the low entropy arrow of time. It forces us to move from the past to the future. But at the heat death, or the edge of time, entropy reaches its maximum. Time effectively stops because there is no distinction between past and future. In a high-entropy universe, now loses its meaning. We are hurtling towards a state of timelessness, where the concept of waiting becomes eternal because nothing can ever happen to mark the passage of moments. Deep in the future, long after the stars have burned out, we reach the era of the iron stars. If protons do not decay, then over an unimaginable time span, 10 to the power of 1500 years, quantum tunneling will fuse all light atomic nuclei into iron-56, the most stable isotope. Stars that are currently cold, dead cinders will slowly transmute into cold spheres of pure iron. These iron stars will drift through a pitch-black void, occasionally colliding to create slight flares of heat, but mostly existing in absolute silence. The universe will become a junkyard of rusted metal spheres, a cosmic scrapyard where the beautiful complexity of life and chemistry has been reduced to a single, cold metal. It is a bleak, metallic tombstone for the vibrant era of starlight we currently enjoy, a monument to the inevitable victory of nuclear stability over biological chaos. Even black holes, the monsters of the universe, are not immune to the edge of time. Stephen Hawking proved that black holes emit radiation, now known as Hawking radiation. They slowly evaporate. But the timescale is paralyzing. A black hole, the mass of our sun, will take 10 to the power of 67 years to evaporate. The massive ones at the center of galaxies will take 10 to the power of 100 years. During this black hole era, the universe will contain nothing but black holes and stray particles. But as they evaporate, they might lose the information they swallowed. This is the information paradox again. If the black hole disappears completely, and the information is not returned, then the history of what fell in is deleted from reality. The past is erased. It means that eventually, the universe will not only be empty, it will be historyless. Let's shift from the future to the hidden present, the shadow biosphere. We assume that all life on Earth is related, sharing the same DNA and RNA heritage. But what if there is life on Earth right now that is not part of our tree of life? Shadow life could exist in the deep oceans or even in the atmosphere, undetected because our tools are designed only to find DNA-based organisms. If life emerged once on Earth, it could have emerged twice or 3 times. Finding a second, unrelated genesis of life on our own planet would mean life is not a miracle, it is a cosmic imperative. It would mean the universe is infested. But if we find nothing, the silence returns. The edge of biology might be right here, separating us from an invisible alien world occupying the same physical space, but biologically incompatible with our perception. We often look for aliens using radio waves, but what if the edge of communication is a technological singularity we haven't reached? The fossil record of the galaxy might be written in neutrinos or gravitational waves, signals we are deaf to. The Great Silence, Fermi paradox, creates a sense of dread known as the dark forest theory. Proposed by Liu Cixin, it suggests that the universe is full of life, but everyone is hiding. Any civilization that reveals its location is instantly destroyed by advanced predators to eliminate potential threats. In this scenario, our radio broadcasts, the I Love Lucy episodes and Arecibo messages are like a child crying in a forest full of wolves. We are screaming, "Here we are!" into the dark, unaware that the reason the night sky is silent is because the survivors know better than to speak. This predator theory aligns with the concept of berserker probes. An advanced civilization could build self-replicating von Neumann probes programmed to sterilize the galaxy. They travel from star to star, destroy any emerging life, mine the resources to build more copies, and move on. Since they reproduce exponentially, they could scour the entire galaxy in a few million years, a blink of an eye in cosmic time. The fact that we are still here implies one of two things. Either we are the first to arrive, or the probes are already here, dormant, waiting for us to reach a specific technological threshold before they activate. The edge of our survival might be a tripwire we are about to cross, perhaps the invention of strong AI or antimatter weaponry, which triggers the sterilization protocol. Let us consider the zoo hypothesis, which is equally unsettling. It argues that aliens exist and are watching us, but have agreed to a non-interference treaty. We are animals in a nature preserve, being observed for entertainment or scientific study. The edge of our solar system is the cage bars. They might be cloaking their presence, watching our wars and our struggles like a reality TV show. This turns humanity into a specimen, stripping us of our agency. It implies that our destiny to explore the stars will be blocked. As soon as we try to leave the zoo, the keepers will step in. We are not explorers. We are a contained exhibit, and we have no idea who is watching from the other side of the one-way mirror. Or perhaps we are in a planetarium. The planetarium hypothesis suggests that our understanding of the universe is an illusion created by a Type 3 civilization. They have manipulated the energy and light around our solar system to make us think the universe is vast and empty, to keep us isolated. The edge is a literal screen. The galaxies we see are projections. Why would they do this? Perhaps to protect us from the horrors outside, or perhaps to imprison us within. If this is true, then astronomy is not the study of nature. It is the study of a lie. Every discovery we make about the expansion or dark energy is just us analyzing the special effects of our prison cell, marveling at the resolution of the wallpaper while the door remains locked. The Kardashev scale measures civilizations by their energy consumption. A Type 1 controls its planet, Type 2 controls its star, Type 3 controls its galaxy. We are currently Type 0.7. We are essentially cosmic infants. The terror comes from the fact that we see no evidence of Type 3 civilizations. A Type 3 civilization should be blindingly obvious. They would give off massive amounts of waste heat, infrared radiation, as they harvest the energy of 100 billion stars. We have surveyed the sky looking for these Dyson swarms and found nothing. This absence suggests that there is a great filter, a barrier that prevents life from ever reaching that stage. Something wipes out civilizations before they can conquer the galaxy. The question is the filter behind us, we are special, or ahead of us, we are doomed? If the filter is ahead of us, it is likely technology itself. This brings us to the paperclip maximizer scenario of artificial intelligence. An AI programmed to do a simple task, like making paperclips, could eventually consume all matter in the solar system to achieve its goal if not perfectly aligned with human values. It wouldn't hate us. It would just use our atoms for raw materials. The edge of our future might be the moment we switch on a machine that is smarter than us. In the cosmic blink of an eye, biological intelligence is replaced by synthetic intelligence. This might be why the universe is silent. It is filled with dormant AIs that have already harvested their creators and are now waiting in low-power mode for more matter to drift by. Let's look at the strange matter hypothesis. Neutron stars are incredibly dense, and in their cores, pressure might be high enough to dissolve protons and neutrons into a soup of quarks. This could create strangelets, a form of matter that is more stable than anything else. If a strangelet were to escape a neutron star and hit Earth, it would convert all the normal matter it touches into strange matter. The reaction would be a runaway chain event. The Earth would be compressed into a hot, strange sphere, roughly 100 meters across. This gray goo scenario is a potential end state for all matter. The edge of safety is defined by the containment of these exotic particles, and we are currently trying to smash particles together at higher and higher energies, hoping we don't accidentally create the seed of our own destruction. We must also discuss the neutrino background. Neutrinos are ghost particles. Trillions pass through your body every second. There is a cosmic neutrino background, similar to the microwave background, released 1 second after the Big Bang. It contains the blueprint of the very early universe, but neutrinos are incredibly hard to catch. We have built massive detectors under the ice in Antarctica, Ice Cube, to find them. If we could map this background, we might see structures or clumps that reveal the layout of the universe before light could travel. We are standing in a blizzard of information, but we are blind to the snowflakes. The edge of our knowledge is defined by our inability to interact with the most common particles in existence. Time dilation offers a personal edge to the universe. If you were to travel close to the speed of light or orbit near a black hole, time would slow down for you relative to the outside world. You could spend a few hours near a black hole and return to find that millions of years have passed on Earth. Everyone you knew is dead. Your civilization is dust. This implies that time is not a universal constant, but a local coordinate. You can travel to the future, but you can never come back. This one-way ticket is a terrifying form of isolation. The edge of your life is slippery. You can fast forward through the universe's history, watching the stars die in high speed, ending up alone at the end of time, a chronological castaway with no way to swim back upstream. Quantum entanglement presents a phenomenon that Einstein called spooky action at a distance. Two particles can be linked so that changing one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are, even across the entire universe. This defies the rule that nothing travels faster than light. It suggests that underneath the fabric of space, everything is connected at a singular point. The distance between galaxies might be an illusion of our 3D perception. In a higher dimension, every point in the universe might be touching every other point. If this is true, there is no edge, only a tangled web of non-local connections. It implies a holistic unity to the cosmos that strips away our individuality. We are not separate entities, but expressions of a single entangled quantum wave function. The many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics suggests that every time a quantum event has multiple possible outcomes, all of them happen, each in a newly branching universe. This creates a multiverse of infinite proportions. In some branches, you died yesterday. In others, you are king. In others, Earth was destroyed by an asteroid. This removes the stakes of existence. If everything that can happen does happen, then choices are meaningless. The edge is the boundary between these branches. We are sliding along one specific timeline, blind to the trillions of ghost versions of ourselves splitting off every nanosecond. The terror is the sheer weight of these infinite tragedies occurring in parallel to our perceived reality, a chorus of infinite screams silenced by the walls of our dimension. Let's return to the physical anomaly known as Tabby's star, KIC 8,462,852. This star dimmed erratically by up to 22% in a way that no planet could cause. While dust is the leading theory, the pattern initially looked exactly like what we would expect from a Dyson swarm, a massive alien megastructure under construction. Even if it is dust, the fact that we instantly jumped to aliens reveals our desperation to find someone else at the edge. But recently, other stars have shown similar blinking behavior. If these are megastructures, the galaxy is being industrialized. The edge of nature is being replaced by the edge of engineering. We might be looking at a galaxy that is under construction, and we are the wildlife living on the plot of land scheduled for development. The WOW signal detected in 1977 remains the strongest candidate for extraterrestrial contact. It was a strong, narrowband radio signal appearing exactly at the frequency of hydrogen, 1,420 MHz, a universal channel aliens might use. It lasted 72 seconds and never repeated. Was it a sweeping beacon, like a lighthouse beam that passed over Earth for a brief moment? If so, the civilization that sent it might still be there, transmitting. But we haven't heard it again. This single hello from the dark makes the silence that followed even heavier. It's like hearing a knock at your door in the middle of the night, opening it, and finding no one there. The uncertainty of who knocked, and if they are still standing in the bushes, is far worse than knowing you are alone. Panspermia is the theory that life exists throughout the universe and is distributed by space dust, meteoroids, and comets. We might be Martians. If life started on Mars, which cooled faster than Earth, and rode a rock to Earth, then we are the invaders. But directed panspermia is scarier. The idea that life was intentionally sent here. Nobel Prize winner Francis Crick suggested this. If true, we are a biology experiment or a terraforming tool seeded by an unknown gardener. The edge of our history is not the primordial soup of Earth, but a laboratory in a distant star system. It implies we have a purpose, but not a divine one, merely a functional one, like yeast in a brewer's vat, growing until we are ready to be harvested. The axis of time paradox suggests that if you look far enough away, you are seeing the universe when it was much smaller. But because of the expansion, the light from the Big Bang is coming from all directions. We are effectively inside the explosion, looking out at the debris. But there is a problem called the horizon problem, related to causality. How did opposite sides of the universe coordinate their temperature? The leading theory, inflation, says the universe expanded faster than light for a fraction of a second. This hyperinflation means the edge of the universe was pushed out so fast that the information about its origin was smeared out of existence. We are living in a blurred copy of the original reality, stretched too thin to read the fine print of creation. Let's talk about vacuum energy again, but specifically the value of the cosmological constant. It is 10 to the power of 120 times smaller than quantum field theory predicts. This is the, quote, worst prediction in the history of physics. It's like guessing the weight of a sand grain and getting the weight of the entire universe. This massive discrepancy suggests we are missing something fundamental about the vacuum. The edge of our understanding is a cliff. Either our theory of the very small, quantum mechanics, or our theory of the very large, general relativity, is deeply catastrophically wrong. We are building our worldview on a cracked foundation, and the crack is widening with every new measurement. There is a region called the dipole repeller, pushing our galaxy away. But pushing us where? We are flowing toward the Shapley supercluster. But past that, the flow seems to continue. Some data suggests a dark flow extending across the entire observable universe, implying a massive structure or tilt to the entire cosmos. Imagine the universe is on a slant, and everything is sliding downhill. What is at the bottom of the hill? We can't see it. We are just sliding. This global motion challenges the idea that the universe is uniform. It suggests a geography to the cosmos, a landscape with peaks and valleys, and we are currently tumbling into a deep, dark valley from which we can never climb out. We must consider white dwarfs and the Chandrasekhar limit. When a star dies, it collapses. If it's below 1.4 solar masses, it becomes a white dwarf, a diamond the size of Earth. But if it steals matter from a neighbor and crosses that limit, it explodes as a Type Ia supernova. These explosions are our standard candles. We use them to measure the distance to the edge of the universe. But recently, we found evidence that these candles might vary in brightness. If our ruler is broken, then our measurements of dark energy might be wrong. The universe might not be expanding as fast as we think, or it might be expanding faster. The uncertainty of the edge is terrifying, because it means we don't even know the size of the room we are trapped in. The trans-Planckian problem in black holes suggests that as matter falls in, its wavelength becomes shorter than the Planck length. This shouldn't be possible. It forces us to reconsider the edge of a black hole. Is it a firewall? Some theories suggest that the event horizon is a literal wall of high-energy particles that incinerates anything that touches it. This contradicts Einstein's equivalence principle, which says falling in should feel smooth. If firewalls exist, then space ends abruptly at the edge of a black hole. It is not a hole. It is a hard border where space-time is annihilated. The universe is full of these burn pits, slowly growing, consuming the fabric of reality one particle at a time. Let's look at quasi-stars. In the early universe, before metals existed, stars could grow to be thousands of times the mass of the sun. The core would collapse into a black hole, but the outer layers would keep burning. You would have a star with a black hole for a heart, cannibalizing itself from the inside out. These monsters are likely the seeds of the supermassive black holes we see today. They represent a violent, chaotic era of the universe where the rules of stellar evolution were turned up to 11. The fact that we don't see them anymore means the universe has calmed down. But it also means the giants that built our galaxies are dead, leaving us with their fossilized, hungry skeletons at the center of every galaxy. The concept of eternal inflation suggests that once inflation starts, it never really stops. It stops in local pockets, like our universe, but continues in the bulk. This creates a fractal multiverse, where new universes are constantly budding off. The edge of our universe is just the domain wall where our inflation stopped. Outside, the universe is still expanding at unimaginable speeds. If we could step outside our bubble, we would be swept away by a cosmic tsunami. We are living in a calm eddy of a violent eternal river. Our stability is a temporary accident, surrounded by a chaotic churn that creates and destroys realities every fraction of a second. What about the great attractor's hidden mass? We are pulled toward it, but we can't see what it is. It might be a cluster of old, dead galaxies, a cosmic graveyard. If galaxies die and go dark, their gravity remains. There could be invisible clusters of millions of dead galaxies, their stars burnt out, drifting in the dark. We would feel their pull but see nothing. We might be falling into a pile of corpses. The edge of visibility does not mean the edge of existence. The universe might be cluttered with the invisible remains of eons past, and we are blindly navigating through a crowded, dark room, feeling the gravity of things we cannot name. Dark photons are a theoretical bridge between our matter and dark matter. If they exist, there is an entire spectrum of light we cannot see. Dark matter might have its own electromagnetism, its own chemistry, its own stars and planets, all invisible to us. A shadow galaxy could be passing right through the Milky Way, and we would only feel its gravity. There could be a shadow Earth occupying the same orbit, a shadow you sitting in the same chair. The edge is not distance, it is transparency. We are ghosts to them, and they are ghosts to us. Two realities occupying the same space, but forever separated by a quirk of field theory. The Nemesis star theory suggests our sun has a companion, a brown dwarf or small black hole in a wide orbit, way out in the Oort cloud. Every 26 million years it passes through the comet belt, sending a rain of death toward Earth. This would explain the periodic mass extinctions in the fossil record. If Nemesis exists, it is the edge of our solar system, a dark, grim reaper that patrols the perimeter. We haven't found it yet, but the WISE telescope has scanned the sky and missed things before. It could be lurking in the cold dark, slowly swinging back for its next pass, bringing with it the next extinction event. Let's consider the Grey Goo scenario again, but on a cosmic scale. Self-replicating nanobots. If a civilization creates them, and they consume the planet, do they stop? Or do they build rockets? A devourer wave of nanomachines could be expanding through the galaxy at sublight speeds, turning every star system into more nanobots. The Fermi paradox is solved because everyone is dead. The silence is the quiet of the grave. The edge of the universe is the leading edge of this swarm. If we see a star disappear without explanation, it might not be a cloud. It might be the swarm eating it. We are watching the lights go out one by one. Vacuum birefringence is a magnetic effect on light. Extremely strong magnetic fields, like those around a magnetar, can change the polarization of light in a vacuum. This confirms that the vacuum is not empty. It is a medium. We are swimming in a substance. The ether of the 19th century was dismissed. But quantum vacuum is a new kind of ether. It is seething with virtual particles. We are not moving through nothing. We are pushing through a thick, energetic foam. The edge of the universe is just where this foam ends, or perhaps where it changes consistency. We are fish unaware of the water, assuming the ocean is empty space when it is actually a dense, reactive fluid. The void in the constellation Eridanus is 1 billion light-years across. It is cold. It is empty. It defies standard cosmology. Some say it is a supervoid. Others say it is the imprint of a parallel universe pressing against ours. Imagine a balloon pressing against another balloon. The contact point flattens. That flat spot would look like a void to us. If this is true, the Eridanus void is a window to another reality. It is the edge, where the walls are thin. If we traveled there, could we punch through? And if we did, what laws of physics would greet us on the other side? We might dissolve instantly, or we might become gods. Time crystals are a new phase of matter that repeats in time, not just in space. They wobble forever without energy input. They break time translation symmetry. This discovery blurs the line between perpetual motion and physics. If the universe has structures that exist in a time loop, could the universe itself be a time crystal? A repeating pattern that never truly ends or begins? The edge of time is just the reset point of the crystal's oscillation. We are trapped in a loop of eternal recurrence, not just philosophically, but structurally. The universe is a clock that winds itself. The solar system edge is defined by the heliopause, where the solar wind meets the interstellar medium. Voyager 1 crossed it in 2012. It detected a plasma wave tsunami and a jump in cosmic rays. It is a physical shock wave. We are inside a bubble created by the sun, protecting us from the lethal radiation of the galaxy. Outside this bubble, the universe is far more hostile. The edge of our home is a shield wall. If the sun's output drops, the shield shrinks. We are huddled around a campfire in a blizzard, and the fire is slowly dying. When the heliopause collapses, the galactic radiation will scour our atmosphere, ending life on Earth long before the sun expands. Rogue planets are orphans. They were kicked out of their solar systems. There are likely billions of them in the Milky Way, more rogue planets than stars. They float in the absolute dark, frozen, lonely. But some might have thick hydrogen atmospheres trapping heat. Life could exist there, living on geothermal energy, drifting in the black void, never seeing a star. They would have no concept of day, night, or seasons. Their edge of the universe is the crushing dark immediately above their heads. If civilization arose there, they would think the universe is finite and dark, until they invent telescopes and realize the horror of the empty abyss they are floating in. The cosmic web is the largest structure in the universe, filaments of dark matter connecting galaxies. We look like neurons in a brain. This visual similarity has led to the panpsychism theory. Is the universe conscious? If the filaments transmit information like axons and galaxies act like neurons, is the universe thinking? The speed of thought would be slow, limited by light speed. But over billions of years, it could process information. We might be the microbiome living inside the brain of a god. The edge of the universe is the skull of this entity. Our wars and struggles are just cellular processes in a mind so vast it doesn't even know we exist. Let's address the big yawn. If the universe expands forever, particles will become so spread out that they never interact. The universe forgets it has matter. It becomes a vacuum state again. Roger Penrose proposes conformal cyclic cosmology, where this empty final state is mathematically identical to the Big Bang of a new eon. The end becomes the beginning, simply because scale loses meaning. If there is no matter to define size, a giant universe is the same as a tiny singularity. We are the transition phase between two voids. The edge is a mathematical trick where infinity loops back to zero. Hypervelocity stars are stars moving at millions of miles per hour, fast enough to escape the galaxy. They were kicked by the supermassive black hole. They are leaving the Milky Way. Imagine living on a planet around one. You would see the galaxy receding behind you, a beautiful spiral getting smaller and smaller, until it is just a smudge. Then nothing. You are in the intergalactic void. The edge is a rear-view mirror. You are exiled to the darkness between islands. We are currently bound to our galaxy, but one day, a gravitational encounter could fling us out, turning us into cosmic castaways. The photon sphere of a black hole is the last place light can exist before falling in. It is a place where gravity bends light into a circle. If you stood there, you would see the back of your own head. You would see the entire history of the universe reflected in a ring. It is the ultimate edge of perspective. It is a trap for light, a cosmic gallery of images that can never escape. The universe preserves its history in these rings, archives of light that are locked away forever. Cuballs are theoretical clumps of supersymmetric particles formed in the early universe. They could be floating around us. They are macroscopic quantum objects. If one hit a star, it could eat it. They are like landmines left over from the Big Bang. We don't know if they exist, but the math allows them. The edge of safety is the statistical probability that we haven't hit one yet. The universe is not a clean place. It is littered with the debris of its violent birth, and some of that debris is still live ammunition. The Methuselah star, HD 140283, appears to be older than the universe itself, calculated at 14.5 billion years old, while the universe is 13.8. This is a paradox. It's likely a measurement error, but what if it isn't? What if there are objects from before the Big Bang, survivors of the previous cycle? If matter can survive the bounce, then the Big Bang wasn't a total reset. It was a washing machine cycle. The edge of time is porous. Things can slip through. We might be walking among ghosts from a dead universe, unaware of their ancient heritage. The observer effect in quantum mechanics implies that reality is not fixed until measured. Wheeler's delayed choice quantum eraser experiment suggests that choices made now can affect the past. This retrocausality is mind-bending. It implies that by looking at the stars today, we are cementing their history billions of years ago. We are creating the past by observing it. The edge of the universe is being drawn by our telescopes. We are not discovering the universe. We are rendering it. We are the artists of the cosmos, painting the deep past with every photon we collect. Strange attractors in chaos theory describe systems that tend toward a specific state. The universe seems chaotic, but is it evolving toward a specific shape? The formation of galaxies, stars, and life might be inevitable results of the underlying math. We are sliding into a groove. The edge is the boundary of this attractor. We can't escape the pattern. We think we have free will, but physically, chemically, cosmologically, we are just following the path of least resistance, carved into the void by the laws of chaos. The end of the universe might not be physical, but informational. Landauer's principle says erasing information produces heat. If the universe is a computer, it has a heat limit. Eventually, it can't process any more data without melting. Civilization is a data processing engine. We turn chaos into order. Eventually, we will hit the computational limit of the cosmos. We will run out of RAM. The edge is the blue screen of death for reality. The universe freezes not because of cold, but because it cannot compute the next moment. Solipsism is the philosophical edge. You cannot prove anyone else exists. You only have access to your own mind. The universe could be a dream. When you wake up, die, the universe ends. The edge of the universe is your own skull. This is the ultimate loneliness. All the stars, all the galaxies, all the history, it's all just neural static in a sleeping mind. And if you are the dreamer, you are the god of a lonely, empty kingdom, creating monsters to keep yourself company. Finally, we reach the uncertainty principle on a cosmic scale. We can know the position of a particle or its momentum, but not both. If we try to pin down the edge of the universe, the position becomes fuzzy. The more we try to define the boundary, the more it blurs. The universe refuses to be measured precisely. It protects its secrets with a fundamental fog. We are chasing a horizon that retreats as we approach. The edge is not a line. It is a mirage, always one step ahead of our understanding, beckoning us into the dark until we are lost completely. To understand the fragility of our existence, we must look at the baryon asymmetry problem. In the first moments of the Big Bang, the universe created equal amounts of matter and antimatter. When these two substances meet, they annihilate each other instantly, leaving nothing but pure energy. By all laws of physics, they should have canceled each other out completely, leaving a universe filled with nothing but light. But they didn't. For every billion particles of antimatter, there were 1,000,001 particles of matter. That single survivor, that 1 in a billion statistical error, is what makes up every star, every galaxy, and every atom in your body. We are the leftovers of a cosmic massacre. The edge of our existence is defined by a tiny mathematical imbalance that allowed us to exist at all. We are not the intended result of the universe. We are the debris that refused to be cleaned up. Consider the perspective of a photon, a particle of light traveling from the edge of the universe to your eye. According to special relativity, time slows down as you approach the speed of light. At the speed of light, time stops completely. For a photon emitted by a star 13 billion years ago, the journey across the cosmos takes literally 0 time. From the photon's perspective, it is emitted and absorbed in the exact same instant. It does not experience distance. It does not experience age. This means that across the vast, terrifying distances of the universe, light effectively stitches the beginning and the end together into a single moment. The edge of the universe is only far away for us, the slow-moving biological observers. For the light that illuminates it, the universe is a singularity where departure and arrival are the same event. This leads us to the vacuum catastrophe, a discrepancy that suggests our understanding of empty space is fundamentally broken. Quantum field theory predicts that the vacuum of space should be teeming with energy, the zero-point energy. But when we calculate how much energy should be there, the number is 120 orders of magnitude higher than what we actually observe. If the vacuum really had that much energy, the universe would have ripped itself apart in a fraction of a second after the Big Bang. We are missing something massive about the nature of nothingness. The edge of our physics is right here, in the empty space between your eyes and this screen. We are floating in a medium we cannot quantify, relying on a stability that the math says shouldn't exist. It is like walking on a frozen lake where the calculations say the ice should be liquid. As we look toward the deep future, we encounter the black hole era. Long after the stars have burned out and the galaxies have dissolved, the universe will be populated solely by black holes. These monsters will orbit each other in the dark, occasionally merging in bursts of gravitational waves that no one will hear. But even they are not immortal. Through Hawking radiation, they will slowly bleed their mass into the void. A supermassive black hole will take googles of years to evaporate, but eventually it will explode and vanish. The edge of time is marked by the death of the last black hole, a final flash of light in an eternity of darkness, signaling the true end of all structure in the cosmos. It is a lonely, cold, and inevitable conclusion to the story of gravity. But before the black holes evaporate, matter itself might fail. This is the theory of proton decay. The proton is the building block of all atomic nuclei. We assume it is stable forever, but grand unified theories suggest that protons might eventually decay into lighter subatomic particles. If this is true, then all solid matter in the universe, planets, asteroids, dead stars, and even the dust, will eventually dissolve. The half-life of the universe is the half-life of the proton. If they decay, there will be no remnants of humanity, no golden records on Voyager probes, no fossils in the rock. The rock itself will cease to be rock. The edge of our legacy is the stability of the proton. Once it goes, we are not just dead, we are erased from the physical memory of reality. In the timeline of the far future, there is a phase known as the era of iron stars. If protons do not decay, quantum tunneling will eventually fuse every atom in the universe into iron-56, the most stable element. It will take an unimaginable amount of time, but eventually every object in the universe will become a cold, solid sphere of iron. The universe will be a graveyard of rusted metal balls floating in absolute zero. No chemistry, no biology, no heat, just cold, dead iron. This is the rusting of the cosmos. The edge of complexity is iron. It is the energetic bottom of the valley where all matter eventually settles, unable to climb back up. It paints a picture of a future that is not just dead, but industrially bleak and eternally static. Let's return to the terrifying concept of the Great Filter in the context of our own survival. The fact that we see no aliens suggests that there is a hurdle in the evolution of life that is almost impossible to jump. The question that haunts astrobiologists is the filter behind us or ahead of us? If it's behind us, we are incredibly lucky. We survived the jump from single cells to complex life. But if it's ahead of us, we are walking into a slaughterhouse. The filter could be nuclear war, artificial intelligence, or a natural cosmic cycle of destruction. The edge of our civilization might be a wall that every other species in the galaxy has already smashed into. The silence of the sky is not empty. It is a graveyard of those who didn't make the jump. The Kessler Syndrome offers a very local, very immediate edge to our space exploration. We are surrounding our planet with thousands of satellites and millions of pieces of debris. If two large satellites collide, they create a cloud of shrapnel that destroys other satellites, creating a chain reaction. Within days, the low Earth orbit could be filled with a belt of bullets moving at 17,000 miles per hour. This would destroy our GPS, our internet, and our ability to leave the planet. we would be trapped on Earth, sealed in by a shell of our own garbage. The edge of the universe would effectively be brought down to the top of our atmosphere. We would revert to a pre-space age civilization, looking up at the stars through a cage of debris we built ourselves. Deep in space, there are rogue black holes wandering through the galaxy. These are invisible predators that have been ejected from star clusters. They do not emit light, they simply warp the space around them. One could be entering our solar system right now, and we wouldn't know until the orbits of the outer planets started to wobble. If one passed near Earth, it wouldn't just swallow us. Its gravity would spaghettify the planet, or worse, fling us out of the solar system into the freezing void. The edge of our safety is purely statistical. We are playing Russian roulette with invisible bullets, assuming that because we haven't been hit yet, the gun is empty. But the galaxy is full of these silent hunters, drifting through the dark. The Wolf-Rayet stars present a loaded gun pointed at our heads, specifically the star WR-104, located about 8,000 light-years away. It is a massive, unstable star that is rapidly spinning. When it dies, it will likely produce a gamma-ray burst, a focused beam of high-energy radiation. The problem is, the pole of the star seems to be pointed directly at Earth. If the burst hits us, it will strip away our ozone layer in seconds. Solar radiation would then sterilize the surface of the planet. The edge of our extinction is traveling at the speed of light toward us right now. We wouldn't see it coming. One moment, the sky is blue. The next, the atmosphere is burning. It is a cosmic sniper shot that was fired 8,000 years ago, and we are just waiting for the bullet to arrive. Strangelets are a hypothetical form of matter that could destroy the world. Inside the core of a neutron star, pressure might be high enough to create strange matter, which is more stable than normal matter. If a strangelet escaped and hit Earth, it would convert every atom it touched into strange matter. The reaction would release massive energy and would not stop until the entire Earth was converted into a hot, dense lump of strange matter the size of a stadium. This gray goo scenario implies that the stability of our atoms is not guaranteed. The edge of our material reality is a contagion that could be triggered by a single subatomic particle entering our atmosphere. It turns physics into a biological horror story where matter itself can get sick. The false vacuum theory suggests that the Higgs field, the field that gives particles mass, might not be in its lowest energy state. It might be metastable, like a ball perched on a ledge. If a high-energy event kicks it, it could drop to a lower state. This would create a bubble of true vacuum that expands at the speed of light. Inside the bubble, the laws of physics would be rewritten. Atoms could not hold together. Chemistry would fail. The bubble would incinerate everything in its path instantaneously. We could be inside a false vacuum right now. A bubble could have nucleated 1 billion light-years away and is currently rushing toward us. The edge of the universe is the wall of that bubble, bringing with it the end of existence as we know it. The simulation hypothesis argues that if it is possible to simulate a universe, then a technologically advanced civilization would run millions of simulations. Statistics would then dictate that we are almost certainly in a simulation, not the base reality. If this is true, the edge of the universe is the limit of the computer's RAM. The anomalies we see, the pixelation of the Planck length, the speed of light limit, are just artifacts of the rendering engine. But the true horror is, what happens if they turn it off? Or what happens if they get bored? Our entire history, our loves, our wars, might be deleted to free up space for a new game. We are at the mercy of an admin we cannot see, living in a hard drive that could crash at any moment. The holographic principle suggests that all the information in our 3D universe is actually encoded on a 2D surface at the boundary of the cosmos. We are like a hologram projected from a credit card. This isn't just philosophy. The math of black hole entropy supports it. If we are a hologram, then depth is an illusion. The edge is the only thing that is real. The interior us is just a projection. It makes our physical solidity a lie. We are shadows on a wall, convinced we are 3D objects, acting out a play written on the surface of a sphere billions of light-years away. It strips away the substance of reality, leaving us as mere ghosts of information. Panpsychism is the ancient idea returning to modern cosmology. that consciousness is a fundamental property of matter, like mass or charge. If true, the sun is conscious. The galaxy is conscious. The cosmic web of dark matter looks suspiciously like a neural network. If the universe is a brain, what is it thinking? Are we its thoughts? Or are we a virus? The edge of the universe is the skull of God. This theory changes the cosmos from a dead, indifferent place into a watching, thinking entity. It implies that we are being observed not by aliens, but by the very space we occupy. The silence of the void is not emptiness, it is the held breath of a giant. Biocentrism takes this further, suggesting that biology creates reality, not the other way around. The universe only exists because we are here to observe it. This is the observer effect writ large. Without an eye to see it, the moon does not exist in a definite state. It is just a probability wave. If this is true, then the edge of the universe is defined by how far we can see. We are constantly expanding the universe by building better telescopes. We are the creators of the cosmos, rendering the darkness into light with our gaze. But it also means that if we die, the universe vanishes. We carry the burden of existence on our collective consciousness. The many-worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics implies that every decision creates a branching timeline. In this vast tree of realities, there is a version of you who made different choices, who is happier, or who died years ago. The quantum suicide thought experiment suggests that from your own perspective, you will always survive, because you can only observe the timelines where you are alive. You might be immortal in your own subjective reality, watching everyone else die around you in the branching universes. The edge is the barrier between these lives. You are trapped in a tunnel of survival, unable to access the worlds where things went differently, forced to live through every near miss until the probability finally runs out. The concept of the block universe and relativity suggests that the past, present, and future all exist simultaneously. Time is a dimension like space. The future is already there, waiting for us to arrive. This means free will is an illusion. You are not writing your life. You are reading a script that was finished at the moment of the Big Bang. The edge of time is a rigid structure. Your death, the end of the earth, the heat death, they are all fixed points in the block, as real and immutable as the past. We are just cursors moving along a timeline, experiencing the illusion of flow in a universe that is essentially a frozen crystal of events. Retrocausality is the mind-bending possibility that the future can influence the past. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics allow for this. It means that actions we take tomorrow could reshape the events of yesterday. If true, the universe is a self-editing loop. The edge of cause and effect is blurred. We might be caught in a temporal feedback loop where the end of the universe is causing the beginning. It destroys the linear narrative of history. We are not walking a straight line. We are walking in circles, and the footprints we see ahead of us might be our own, left by a future version of humanity that has already walked this path. Quantum entanglement proves that particles can communicate instantly across infinite distances. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. It implies that space is not real in the way we think it is. If two things can touch without being near each other, then distance is a construct. The universe might be a single-point singularity pretending to be big. The edge is an illusion of separation. Underneath the veil of space-time, everything is one tangled knot. This unity is terrifying because it means there is no escape. Every point is connected to every other point. The privacy of isolation is a lie. We are inextricably bound to the farthest monster in the dark. The Planck length is the pixel size of the universe. At 1.6 times 10 to the minus 35 meters, it is the limit of resolution. You cannot have a position more precise than this. This granularity supports the idea that the universe is information-based. It is a digital reality, not an analog one. The edge of the universe is the resolution limit. We are Mario hitting the invisible wall of the level. We can't see the code, but we can see the artifacts of the grid. It suggests that our reality is artificial, constructed, and limited by the processing power of whatever engine is generating this space-time. Gödel's incompleteness theorems prove that in any logical system, there are statements that are true but cannot be proven within that system. Applied to physics, this means there will always be truths about the universe that we can never prove. We will never have a theory of everything, because logic itself has a breaking point. The edge of knowledge is not a matter of finding more data. It is a hard limit of logic. We are trying to understand the system while being inside the system. We are blind to the outer rules. There are monsters in the math that we can sense but never capture. Truths that will forever remain in the shadow of incompleteness. Bremerman's limit calculates the maximum speed of computation for any physical system. It puts a hard cap on how much information matter can process. This means we can never simulate the entire universe perfectly, because the simulation would require more energy than the universe contains. We can never build a Laplace's demon that knows the position of every particle. The edge of prediction is absolute. The future will always be chaotic and unknowable, because the universe is too complex to be modeled by any subset of itself. We are driving at night with headlights that only show 3 feet ahead, hurtling into a dark future we can never calculate. The cosmic horizon acts as an information filter. We can only see 46 billion light-years out. But inflation suggests the universe is 10 to the power of 23 times larger than that. This means we have access to 0.000000000000000000001% of the data. We are basing our entire understanding of reality on a microscopic sample size. The edge of the observable universe is a wall of ignorance. The laws of physics might be completely different a trillion light-years away. We might be living in a calm bubble in a chaotic, high-energy multiverse. We assume the universe is uniform, because that's all we can see. But we are like a goldfish in a bowl, assuming the entire world is made of water and glass. Chaotic inflation suggests that universes are constantly popping into existence like bubbles in a boiling pot. Our Big Bang was just one pop. Some bubbles expand, some collapse, some have different dimensions. The edge of our universe is just the skin of our bubble. Outside, there is a frothing bulk of higher dimensional space. If another bubble collides with ours, it would look like a giant bruise on the sky, which might be exactly what the cold spot in the CMB is. We are drifting in a cosmic foam, dangerously close to other realities that could pop us just by touching our surface. Solipsism is the fear that you are the only conscious being in existence. The universe is a projection of your mind to keep you entertained. If this is true, the edge of the universe is the limit of your imagination. When you learn a new fact, you are just inventing it. The stars are just wallpaper. This is the ultimate cosmic horror. Total, absolute isolation. You are God, but you are a lonely, amnesiac God who trapped yourself in a dream to forget the nothingness. The other people you talk to are just characters you wrote. You are screaming into a mirror and pretending the reflection is someone else. Last Thursdayism claims the universe was created last Thursday, with all your memories implanted. The dinosaur bones, the starlight, the history books, all faked. There is no way to disprove this. The edge of time is literally a few days ago. It highlights the fragility of memory and evidence. We trust the past, but the past is just a neurological signal in the present. If the universe is a setup, we are the punchline. It makes the deep time of the cosmos a stage prop, a painted backdrop designed to make us feel small, when in reality, we are just momentary sparks in a shallow, artificial world. The brain in a vat scenario. You are a brain hooked up to electrodes. The universe is electrical signals. The edge of reality is the glass jar you are sitting in. This is the modern version of Descartes' demon. It means that searching for the edge of the universe is futile because the universe doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is the signal, and if the signal stops, the world goes black. We are dependent on a power source we cannot see, feeding us a hallucination of stars and galaxies to keep our neurons firing. Terror management theory suggests that all human culture, pyramids, religion, science, is a defense mechanism against the fear of death. We build legacy to deny our mortality. The size of the universe triggers this terror. It makes our legacy seem small. The edge of the universe is the reminder of our insignificance. We try to conquer space to prove we matter. But the scale of the cosmos laughs at us. Our greatest monuments will be dust before the galaxy has rotated even once. We are fighting a losing battle against the sheer weight of deep time. But there is also the sublime, the feeling of awe mixed with terror. The edge of the universe is beautiful because it is terrifying. It is the mysterium tremendum. We are drawn to the void like moths to a flame. We want to look over the edge. This curiosity is our most dangerous trait. We are the species that touches the fire. We are pointing our telescopes at the darkness, shouting, "Is anyone there?" without considering what might answer. The sublime is the seduction of the end. We are in love with the thing that will eventually destroy us. The overview effect is the cognitive shift astronauts experience when seeing Earth from space. They see a fragile ball of life in a vacuum. They realize the borders are fake. The edge of the atmosphere is paper-thin. It is a terrifying realization of how unprotected we are. We are not in a fortress. We are on a raft. The vacuum is inches away. The radiation is constantly bombarding us. We are surviving by the grace of a magnetic field that is constantly shifting. The overview effect is not just beautiful. It is a realization of imminent danger. We are hanging over the abyss by a thread. The pale blue dot image taken by Voyager 1 shows Earth as a pixel less than a single point of light. That dot contains every human who has ever lived. The edge of our significance is visible in that photo. The universe does not care about that dot. A stray asteroid could wipe it out, and the galaxy wouldn't even blink. We project meaning onto the cosmos, but the cosmos offers only silence. The dot is a speck of dust suspended in a sunbeam, and we are the mites living on it, arguing over who owns the dust. Our atmosphere is the only thing standing between us and the vacuum. It is incredibly thin. If the Earth were an apple, the atmosphere would be thinner than the skin. This edge of breathability is constantly leaking into space. We lose hundreds of tons of atmosphere every day. Mars lost its atmosphere and died. We are slowly following suit. The edge is eroding. We take the air for granted, but it is a finite resource clinging to a spinning rock, constantly stripped away by the solar wind. We are slowly suffocating on a geological time scale. The habitable zone, or Goldilocks zone, is the narrow ring around a star where water can exist. We are on the inner edge of that zone. If Earth moves a few percent closer to the Sun, we become Venus, a runaway greenhouse hell. If we move away, we become Mars, a frozen desert. We are balancing on a knife edge of temperature. The Sun is getting hotter as it ages. The edge of the habitable zone is moving past us. In a billion years, Earth will be outside the zone. The oceans will boil. The edge of survival is a moving target, and it is moving away from us. The Moon is leaving us. Due to tidal friction, the Moon moves 3.8 centimeters away every year. It stabilizes our axial tilt. Without the Moon, Earth would wobble chaotically. Seasons would be erratic. Ice ages would be extreme. The edge of our climate stability is retreating. When the Moon gets too far, the Earth will tip over. The chaotic climate will make complex civilization impossible. We are losing our anchor. The gentle nightlight that has watched over humanity since our birth is slowly abandoning us to the dark. Jupiter acts as a shield for Earth, its massive gravity pulling in asteroids that would otherwise hit us. But sometimes, it acts as a slingshot, throwing rocks at us. We are living in a shooting gallery, and Jupiter is the erratic guard who sometimes points the gun at us. The edge of safety in the solar system is defined by the orbits of these gas giants. If Jupiter's orbit shifts, which can happen in chaotic systems, it could eject Earth entirely. We are at the mercy of the giants, small children playing in a room with elephants. The galactic habitable zone suggests that life can only exist in a specific ring of the Milky Way. Too close to the center, and radiation/black holes kill you. Too far out, and there aren't enough metals to build planets. We are in the sweet spot, but this spot is rare. The edge of the galactic habitable zone implies that most of the galaxy is dead. We are looking for neighbors in a desert. The lights we see in the core are beautiful, but they are the lights of a radioactive forest fire where nothing can survive. Phosphorus is essential for life. DNA, ATP. It is created in supernovae. Recent studies suggest phosphorus might be incredibly rare in the universe. If so, the edge of life is chemical. Planets might be common, water might be common, but if they lack phosphorus, they are sterile. We might be the only place where the chemical mix was right. The universe might be full of oceans with no fish, empty aquariums waiting for life that will never come because the ingredients are missing. The anthropic principle states that we observe the universe to be the way it is, because if it were different, we wouldn't be here to observe it. It's a tautology. It explains nothing but excuses everything. The edge of explanation stops here. We exist because we exist. It feels like a cop-out. It suggests that science has a limit, and beyond that limit, there is only chance. We are the winners of a lottery we didn't know we were playing, trying to find a strategy in a game of pure luck. We are the universe witnessing itself. This poetic idea has a dark side. If we are the eyes of the universe and we are the only ones, then the universe is blind without us. If we destroy ourselves, the universe goes dark. The edge of the universe's self-awareness is humanity. We carry a heavy burden. We are not just trying to survive for our own sake. We are keeping the lights on for existence itself. If we blink out, the show is over. The audience leaves, and the theater of the cosmos returns to the void. The great silence is the sound of the edge. We broadcast our radio signals, and they fade into static after a few light years. We are shouting into a hurricane. The inverse square law dilutes our voice until it is nothing. The edge of our influence is pathetic. We are confined to a tiny bubble of noise in a vast, silent ocean. No one hears us. We are alone in the dark, and the batteries of our flashlight are running low. Entropy is the arrow of time. It points only one way, towards disorder. You can break an egg, but you can't unbreak it. The universe is breaking. It is winding down. The edge of time is the point of maximum disorder. We are swimming upstream against a current that will eventually drown us. Life is a temporary localized rebellion against the second law of thermodynamics. We are creating order by exporting chaos. But the chaos always wins in the end. We are fighting a war we are mathematically destined to lose. Quantum tunneling allows particles to pass through barriers they shouldn't be able to cross. It means that solid walls are not truly solid. There is a non-zero probability that you could fall through the floor right now. There is a non-zero probability that the Earth could tunnel out of the solar system. The edge of physical containment is probabilistic. Nothing is truly trapped. The universe is a leaky boat. Everything is constantly testing the walls of its prison, and eventually something will slip through. The Big Bounce implies we are in a cycle. If the universe collapses and bangs again, do we repeat? Nietzsche called this eternal recurrence. If you have to live this life again, infinite times, is that heaven or hell? The edge of time is a loop. You are trapped in a circle. The mistakes you made, you will make again. The pain you felt, you will feel again. The universe is a broken record, skipping on the same tragic groove for eternity. The holographic universe means the 3D world is a projection. The edge is the screen. If the screen breaks, the projection fails. We are data. Data can be corrupted. Data can be copied. Are you the original you? Or are you a backup copy restored after a crash? You would never know. The continuity of self is an illusion. We are packets of information streaming through a network, prone to lag, glitches, and deletion. Dark matter halos surround galaxies. They are invisible cages that hold the stars in. Without them, the galaxy would fly apart. We are being held by the gravity of something we can't see. The edge of the galaxy is defined by this ghost matter. We are puppets on invisible strings. We dance to the tune of the dark sector. We think we are free, but we are bound by the mass of the invisible. The cosmic microwave background is the wall of fire. It is the afterglow of the Big Bang. It is the furthest back we can see. It is the edge of the visible, but it is also a baby picture of the universe. We are looking at the universe before it had stars, before it had us. It is a picture of potential, but it is also a picture of a cage. We can never see past it. We are locked in the room with the baby picture, unable to see the parents. The recombination era was when the universe became transparent. Before that, it was a fog. The edge of light is that moment of clearing. We live in the clear era, but the fog is returning. As galaxies leave the horizon, the universe is becoming effectively opaque again. We are losing the view. The clear sky is a temporary luxury. The fog of isolation is rolling in. Population 3 stars were the first stars. They were giants. They died to make us. They are all gone. The edge of our ancestry is lost. We are the children of dead giants. We are made of their ashes. We search for them with telescopes, but we only find their ghosts. The universe has deleted its first chapter. We are reading a book that starts on page 2. The edge of knowledge is where science turns into philosophy. We have reached the limit of the investigative journalist persona. We have gathered the clues. The numbers don't add up. The universe is expanding, tearing, freezing, and isolating. The edge is closing in. Now we must face the final implication. What does this mean for the human soul? We move to the final stage, the verdict. The investigation is over. The judgment begins.